Hello, welcome to RPA Fridays session number 31. This time, this is part number 5 from a little series on Uipath modern design experience activities with me, with Roman. I'm from RobotICT, a company based in Czech Republic, and I'm delivering RPA projects, helping people to get familiar with robots, doing these videos, also taking care about our community forum and leading the academies in our company. So if you want to get in touch with me, feel free to find me on LinkedIn or comment on the video. Thank you for watching in advance, and if you will like it, please give it a like and subscribe. Let's see what will be today's topic. Today's topic is a 5th session on modern design experience activities. I chose these topics in past. The video, first video was introduction, and then use application/browser activity, then click, type into, check app state, and today we will be talking about data extraction. Of course, there are more activities in modern design experience that I decided I will skip them. So if you go through videos from 1 to 5, you should have basic understanding on the topic, and you should understand what are the advantages and disadvantages of modern design experience activities. I would say mostly advantages. So what I will cover today. Today I will be talking about data extraction, or you can call it data scraping in modern design experience, because it differs from the classic one. It actually has so much improved. It is so much improved. So I will be talking about table extraction, structured data extraction, and little things about like how to deal with it if data are spanning multiple pages. If this is totally new for you, that's okay. I will show you some cool tricks how to extract big amounts of data at once. So without further talking, let's dive into first example. So my studio is ready, and I want to show you the website I will be scraping data from. It is this acme-testuipath.com website that maybe sooner or later you will come across this website. You will maybe do some exercise or assessment using this test website. You can register there, you can use a fake email account, it doesn't matter. You can just create a quick account and you are in, and you can play with this. So this is our first target data that I want to extract. So as a first thing, let's just double check that my project is modern. I will go click this gear next to project and check if this little last toggle, modern design experience, is set to yes. So it's okay, I can proceed. First, I will click this little button, table extraction. This will minimize Uipath Studio and will pop this table extraction window that will hover on top of everything, so you can't really lose it. And before I will start scraping the data, let's take a look at one little button here. It's this one, this little toggle, which if you toggle it on or off, it will stay indicated. If it's on, it will try to get also URLs, so hyperlinks from the data, if there will be any. So let's do that. The first thing you will do is to click Add Data. I click this, and now I'm able to indicate some data that I want. For example, I want to get all these numbers. So I'll click the first number. Now, luckily, I will get this pop-up. Would you like to extract all the columns from the table? That means the studio indicated this is a table. But beware, not everything that looks like a table is technically a table, and vice versa. Some things that don't look like table are actually tables. That depends on how the website or the application is built, so it depends on the source code. So you never know. So this time I'm lucky, it's a table, so I can click yes, and that's the magic will happen now. As you see, here in the extract data part, I have all the column names. I'm really lucky because all the columns actually have some names, so it's really convenient. And also for the column called actions, I also have actions URL. If you get to this point, you have a table, you have the columns even with names. Lucky you, it's awesome. So we do have these columns here, and we can do a few things with each of the column. We can put it in trash, we can delete it by this rubbish bin icon, and we can also do something with the settings of each column. First, I can rename the column. I can also change the parse data as from text to number or date and time, and here some sample of the data is visible after parsing. So let's go, for example, to VIID, that's work item ID, and change the parse data as number. This won't change much with the sample after parsing, but as you can see, there are other options like decimal separator and thousand separator, which will allow us to extract number or currency or maybe accounting numbers easily from the data. So see, there are already some post-processing options already included in the table extraction. Like, this is super convenient. The other options we have here is date, for example. So I will demonstrate it on the last column, which is actually column with dates. If I click this gearbox button and I will select sort data as date and time, then the date format has been automatically indicated as year, month and day with a dash between them. And this is the resulted how it will look like after the parsing. So all this you can adjust the expected format of it, and then as a result you will have a date time variable that you can easily work with in the data table. But I mean, it's a cool thing that you can set the data type of each column already in the data extraction. Also, there is an option to sort the data by some of these columns. So for example, by status, right? So if I want to sort it by status, ascending or descending, I can just select this. Every time you do some change in this little window, you need to hit save to apply the changes. I'm not sure what will really happen if you will put the sort in more than one column. You know, feel free to experiment. So now I would like to show you a little hidden button here. It's in bottom right corner, this eye that says preview data, which is really handy, and you can always check the preview of the data after you do any changes in the columns and their settings. If you click that, it will open a little preview of it, and you will see, for example, that from the first column we cannot really extract any text because there is no, so you can eventually delete it or adjust it, and you will see also the final format of your data after you will change the format from text to number or date and time. Between the preview section with the eye and the columns, there is a little section called settings, where we can limit the extraction to a specified amount of rows or pages. So if you want to, for example, get only first 2 pages or first 20 rows for some reason, you can set it here with as a number. So when we're talking about pages, probably you are thinking, okay, so how can we actually scrape data from more pages? If your data are like this and you have a button that you can click to go to the next page, then you just win, because you can hit this little next button, indicate that next button, click on that, and voila, your next button is indicated. And now the extraction will go as long as either the limit is reached or the last page is reached and the next button is not present. Right? This is important because if the next button will still be present there and it will actually not go to any other page, you can create an infinite loop and you need to kind of work around with that. So the next button appeared here under the extract data, under the columns. And if you wish, and I advise you to do that, you can hit the gear icon here to go to the selector settings, so to say, and adjust the selector, because sometimes there could be something weird in there, or you can maybe add an anchor or something. I think this one is fine, so I will hit confirm. All right, that's kind of all what we need, right? We have the columns, we have the next button, and we can say we are happy with the results. So I hit the floppy disk icon, save and return to Studio, and what happened? Before it was empty sequence, now 2 new activities being added. The use application/browser with the URL that I used, and also the extract table data activity. On top of that, we have a new variable, extract data table, in a sequence scope, in the scope of all the sequence that I have. That eventually you can then rename to anything that would suit more the data that you just extracted, for example, work items. That's up to you. But also, this came as an extra activity in case you will be starting the table extraction already from the use application browser scope. Then this use application/browser will not be created and only the extract table data activity will pop. So now to the biggest magic. If you remember the old classic data extraction, you know that every time you wanted to do some changes, maybe add a column or maybe adjust it a little bit, it was kind of hard or was nearly impossible to do that. So you had to go and follow the wizard again and build it again and so on. But this time we have a really serious improvement here, and that's when you click the hamburger menu here, there is the second link said edit extract data. And if the data is present, so if the website is still open, I can edit the setup of the extraction. So if I click that, I'm back in this little window, and in a few seconds it will indicate everything, and I can adjust columns, types, limits, and so on. I'm back in the nice wizard. Cool, right? The first option, by the way, the extract data wizard, will start the wizard from scratch. So it will override what you have and will indicate it from scratch. It's similar to the first two options in hamburger menu by most of the UI activities like click or type into. It works in a similar way. Even the hotkeys are the same. Another cool feature that you can find here in the hamburger menu is test extraction, and also edit next link, but that's pretty obvious. What is it doing? Test extraction, if you click that, it will try to extract the first page of the data. So if something will change and on your website you want to just test if everything is still working fine, you can hit the test extraction. So you should see something like this, a preview data. First page or first two pages, it's a preview. It's quite cool. Okay, that was scraping a table. That was pretty easy, but what if we want to scrape some other structured data which are not in a form of table? For example, a result of search. For this, I have a little example. The example is searching on something on specific on eBay. I guess all of you ever seen eBay. I'm using eBay for a demonstration because it is quite easily automatable. There are good selectors and so on. So it's quite good website to test and try things. However, I want to tell you that most of the websites, eBay included, prohibits in their terms and conditions to perform automatic scraping or robotic scraping or getting the data. So please, this is only for educational purposes. You can also give it a few times try, but do not overload the websites because then the owners will probably not be happy with that. Never mind. So we do have a structured result. Each of these things like titles and price and shipping idea could be put in a table because they are the same data kind. My goal will be to store the title, the price, and the URL of the product. So see, my main is empty again. I want to start from scratch and show you how to do it from scratch. I will click the table extraction again. This minimizes Studio, open the table extraction window, and I want to go ahead and click Add Data. Now I will indicate the first kind of data I want to actually scrape. This will be the first title. After clicking the title, it will load for a while, and it will indicate with the little bluish rectangles all the other titles. Let me just scroll down a bit and see if all the titles were actually indicated correctly and none of them is missing. It seems like it's all good. So I will scroll back to the beginning, to the top, and because I'm happy with this, I can click Finish Selection. As you can see, two columns have been created, a new column 0 and new column 0 URL. I can rename them. I can change all the settings that we did before, and also click the preview to see what we have so far. So we have the title and we have the URL for each product, which can be handy in, for example, if you want to then loop and visit each of the page and do something there, I don't know, do a screenshot or whatever. But of course, please do it in your internal applications and not on eBay. This is only an educational example. So let's say we want to match also the prices for the products. So I will click Add Data again and indicate the first price that is in the list. It will take a few seconds and we will see two things. First, the price of the second product has not been indicated correctly. Also, there is a little red in the new column saying that the number of items extracted differs from the other columns. So, but because we are in a stage where we are in a, let's say, similar element selection stage, we can continue, or I will continue and click the next price that hasn't been indicated correctly. So the studio or this extraction wizard can create, fine-tune the pattern of between those prices, between the data. Now this is blue, and now if I scroll up and down, I see that all the prices have been indicated correctly. This works actually much better than in the classic ones, and it's also much more convenient to work with that. So now when I have every price and I'm happy with everything has been matched and correctly selected, I hit Finish Selection. So now if I preview my data, I can see that for each product I have a URL, I have a price with some price range. Never mind, I can work with that in case I want to, I don't know, watch the prices or do anything else. And I'm pretty happy with that. In the same way how we did in the previous example, I can find the next arrow here that can bring us to next page and use it as a next button. Indicate next button, click it, and be happy with that. So for example, later if I will want to add some of the other details like image even, or if it's something else, I don't know how many bits are on each item or whatever else, how many people watching it, I can go edit the extraction and go back to this table extraction. But for now I'm happy. I hit the save button and Uipath Studio will generate the two activities as before for me again. Note the nice thing that the use application/browser has an icon that matches the icon of the website. That's pretty neat, isn't it? So it's the same thing like before. We have extract table data, and let's also take a look for a while at its properties. So there are some common things that we already went through if you were watching the previous videos, like delay after, delay before, and continue on error. You probably know that. The continue on error here set to true actually is because if the extraction goes to the last page and cannot find the next button, which means this is the end, my friend, it will continue running and it will not throw an exception. It works in a way that it's like, imagine a little element exist activity included in there. So you can leave it there. It's all fine. Then there are targets of the table and of the next button and some other things that you can maybe explore, but you can easily adjust them from the wizard. And what is interesting thing is this options append results. In case you have already data table with some results and you want to just add new rows, new data, then you can tick this and turn it on, and this will allow you to append the results of the extraction, and a few other things that you can set up that will be familiar to you from the previous parts, like input mode if you want to go simulate, if you want to have the same as the scope and so on. And the extraction can be limited by these two last options also from the wizard. So some of the things for properties are easily setupable in the wizard in a way when you click the hamburger menu and click edit extract data, that will bring you back. But of course you need to have the source of the data open whilst you if you want to edit it. See, and now I can, for example, add new column or so on. Good. So what is next? Now you have data in a data table. That's awesome format. You can maybe use a write range to put it in an Excel file, or you can use for each row in data table to loop through them and do something with each of the row and so on. This will be up to you what to do with them. I just wanted to show you what are the options of data extraction using modern design experience activities, or let's say the little new extraction that has been enhanced. I hope you liked today's video. I hope I explained you most of what you would be asking about, but if you still have some questions, please type them under the video and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. This was the last part of our modern design experience little mini series. I hope you like it, and I want to tell you thank you for your attention. You will find some related links under the video description. Make sure to click them and visit our community forum, where also if you like RPA, if you like Uipath, we have every 2 weeks RPA challenges. There are also old challenges, so there are exercises that you can practice on and you can really fine-tune your skills. You can also ask if you have any problems, if you have any issues with your automations, and I will make sure to answer to your issues fast. Once again, thank you. Consider subscription, hit the like if you like it, and I am looking forward to see you at some of the next videos. And I wish you happy automation.